Welcome to the second match of the second week of the 29th Grand Arena season, and I'm playing against Falcon, who unfortunately, shout out to you my friend, reached out to me that he had connection issues when he was playing, so he had quite some fails, which is why he got a full clear but not really great banners. And that's, it's a bummer to hear, but also it puts me in this weird spot of like, yes, I want to win, but at the same time I feel already bad, that things happened. And so, when I was playing in this weird spot, okay, I want to win, but at the same time I want to play very efficient, get good banners or like a high score so that my opponent doesn't feel too bad when he sees the end result, so that I didn't beat him by like 5 banners or something, but like quite a margin so that potentially it doesn't feel too weird. And of course there's still the chance that I would lose this match, right? So by not full clearing or whatever can happen. And so I wanted to play as good as possible. So I started off with this classic, quote-unquote, more Mandalorians with Type of Troika against GAC, which usually is quite a straightforward battle, except things go sideways because of Datacrons, which happened to me in the season already. But this time we just have like potency on the team. Potency boost of like 40% or something, which is nice, but at the same time it doesn't really affect this match too much because there's not so many cases where GAC can make use of it, like with his AoE he could potentially to land days, but it doesn't even happen. So starting the match off with like full banners, which was nice. And then the next battle I took was off meta to this Kylo Ren Unmasked. Sorry, he's also involved, but supremely like Kylo Ren, of course. And the interesting thing about this, there is no Red Trooper, which I felt was interesting in that sense that it made the other First Order team stronger, which used the Omicron on TIE Fighter Pilot. At the same time, I felt like it makes this team a lot less tricky because you don't have to fear about the AoEs or the cleanses so much, and it's mainly about hammering down the tanks and then hammering down Kylo. But still, it's double tank, so you still have to find your ways around it. But because there was a Red Trooper, I felt quite comfortable. Taking out Hux here, it was quite nice. And so it felt pretty under control. And I guess, if you have First Order and you want to do the split, it's quite tricky. I also think that either Crew or Hux need to go, or at least First Order Stormtrooper need to go with the Omicron TIE Fighter Pilot because they need to have a tank in the team. And ideally all the damage dealers, so it's tricky to make the split. You can either have like 2 mediocre teams or you have like one very strong and one weak team, I think. So potentially it's best if you have that you want to use both, potentially just use Kylo Ren on offense or something. Because as you can see here, the match was quite under control, taking out the tanks, taking out Hux, and then just like dodge, evade, step of foresight, and then get 63 banners. But still, I think it's the first time when you play this and you don't know what to do, then it can get tricky as well. So you never should underestimate the First Order, or like especially Kylo Ren, like Superior. But when you've played the off meta for quite a while, you kind of can navigate it, I think. And then I thought, okay, there is no tank, there is no crew, which would have been like a no-go for me to do this. But I felt like, okay, the only real threat here, I think, is Red Troopers, so I thought I'd go in with Wampa and just try what happens. Of course, the goal is to take out Red first, to not allow him to take a big hit on you, but once he's out, there is really no threat. Even like OG Kylo isn't that much of a danger. Of course, good to dots, he will stack offense and or crit damage, but Wampa is thick enough to survive that, especially with the bonus protection, and then it's straightforward to take him out, as you can see here, and healing immunity also helps. So that was quite nice and interesting to see as well. Then I changed things up a little bit, which, as you can see, like in the other matches, because in the last round I lost to a Super Rey, and I was, frustrated by it. Not because I lost, but because it felt so weird. to have this team that is so strong. And this Rey, again, like had a great Datacron, but not the one with the 15% TM boost when you don't have like the buffs, but that you gain 10% TM when you gain a buff or something, which is quite nice as well for Rey. So they take quite some turns. So I thought, okay, I have to mirror this. And so I took Rey on offense this time, which I haven't played in quite a while. Usually in fives, I only played in Territory Wars, to be honest. Or at least so far, but in threes it used to be my go-to counter to Rey. The mirror is the best thing you can do there, I think. And so I felt like, okay, it shouldn't be too much of a problem as long as I can time the ultimates properly. I should be safe. And so far it helped. As you can see, I took out JTR first with the Whirlwind, basically getting my Rey, or it helped that I got like damage immunity triggered on Poe, so I got my Whirlwind ready, then I passed the turn to her with Finn, and so she took out JTR. And now it's just like a waiting game, trying to get my characters or my team as much bonus protection as I can, just to keep them alive more, so that they can take a Whirlwind. I have to speak slower, sorry. And of course then to take out the other characters with the Whirlwinds whenever possible. So it's more or less a game of waiting and passing turns around and bonus protection and hoping that I don't mess up so that Rey gets off a Whirlwind on a character and takes them out. But usually it's quite okay. Of course, some things you always have to work around. But so far so good. I still have all my characters. It's only 3 characters on their side, and so far the timing is also okay of the ultimates. She's in hers, I'm in mine, and so nothing happens to my team. And when I get out of mine, I potentially can take out. I think I take out Finn as well. Finn and no, only Holdo this time, but Finn almost. And I put in R2 because for now, as you can see, because I wanted to hide everyone except Rey, so in case there is a Whirlwind, she takes it, and so there is no problem. That's one reason why I took in R2. The other reason was I wanted to get a little bit of offense boost here. Not that my Rey is weak; she's like 3.3k offense, but it's nice to have this extra oomph, which can help in some situations. Here, Grenade of Healing shortly to get my team back to full health. So far so good. Again, ultimates are timed nicely. She comes out of hers, but has a lot of bonus protection, so I can't take her out immediately. So now I hope to land at least days so that nothing happens, but there's no way for her to gauge her without like from the boost from the Datacron. Again, Whirlwind on Rey this time again, and so she takes in a Whirlwind herself, and so I got 64 banners, which was quite nice, but also takes some time. And because I wasn't really sure what to place this round, because whenever I have such a like big loss when I can't even full clear my opponent, I usually tend to change a lot of things in my game plan. And this time I went heavy on offense again, compared to the last times where I played defense heavy. Or even before Datacrons, where at times put 6 GRs on defense. So I saw the back wall, there was nothing threatening, and I thought, okay, so I can take Turbina Calderon as a solo versus DR here, which is no biggie, it's straightforward. 68 banners again. Then this one is one of the back wall teams, a Maul, like basically the comp that I run as well. Tuerdica was quite fast, I think 264, so effectively 390 something. So quite fast, but still not fast enough to be a threat to my Starkiller team. And so I thought this should be straightforward, or should be okay, put it like that. And as you can see, yeah, it's almost over, which is on the one hand nice, but I sometimes have the feeling I have to maybe It feels weird when you have Starkiller and you stack him office on him so much that he basically takes out all the teams. It feels like an overkill. At the same time, you want to stack all things you can get on him for the matches where you have to go versus GLs. So it's a weird spot he's in right now, at least for me. Versus GLs, it's okay, but for any other team, it can feel like an overkill. And when you lose banners, you have no way to recover them because you don't get to your ultimate in time. So yeah. It's a luxury problem, of course, so don't get me wrong, but it's still weird. Another backwall fight. This Scoundrel team, Quill was quite fast, so I thought, okay, there is no Lord Vader on the board, so I can take in my Bounty Hunters here. I also changed my defenses up a little bit, which potentially would have made the Lord Vader counter with Fennec a little bit more problematic anyway, but I don't want to spoil things too much. Yeah, so here again, with the help of Sam Omicron, it's still pretty straightforward. I took Quill out first because I think he's the main problem on this team. He gives to a midder, and his synergies with IG are just too good, so that's why I thought, yeah, should take him out first, and then as the next one, potentially nest with Mando, if he gets to another one of his disintegrated shots, as you can see here. But other than that, you can take out Bobas just like by basic attacks, or like, you know, attacks that just happen when you just play the game and not waiting for special attacks or something like that. So 65 was okay. I think then this is the third backwall fight, a Saudi, which was, yeah, quite good. Of course, there was no BB-8, which would have made it potentially more problematic, but maybe not. So I thought, let's take a safety route to this and just use Qui-Gon Jinn. The problem here is they don't attack Qui-Gon, so I'm losing a lot of banners here while taking out the droids, or at least getting the droids quite low and potentially taking them out without even having triggered the lead or the unique, I forgot what it is, I think it's the lead from Qui-Gon. And so that felt a little bit weird. I was hoping all the time, hey, go for Qui-Gon, please. But it doesn't really happen, so I just play it down, and still it's a bit of a bummer. I could have potentially swapped the stances here to get some protection back, but I was just hoping that they still kill Qui-Gon, which doesn't happen, spoiler. So I end up with like a lot of banner lost here in this match, which was unfortunate. But yeah, it is what it is. Then, as you can see, I kept JMK for offense, and so I used JMK versus this Scoundrel team. This team that I ran myself, I think last season already and partially this season. It's quite nice, but if you have figured it out, it's still easy to take out, and for JMK it's even less of a problem because there's no TM gain for the other team. So for them it is what it is. It's speed versus speed, and GL, especially JMK, is just too strong that anything can happen here, and then you just take out Vander and then the team falls apart. If you play the other way around, it's a different story. If you have the Omicron on dash, you can take out JMK with Vendor in the team, but it's still a tricky battle. Then we have the leftover CLS team with BB-8, which was quite interesting, just to get off a boost for the droids here. And I also had JML on offense. That's why this didn't really matter. But other than that, I also thought of this back in the days, just using BB-8 and C-3PO, because they have both resistance synergies and droid synergies, and then you have the droid synergies from Free Puck, but also the synergies for him as a rebel and C-3PO, and then this is all tied together with CLS. Interesting team, but of course versus GL is difficult for them to, get something off. And here I was trying to get banners back, that's why I attacked C-3PO instead of going for CLS, but I didn't recover all the banners that I lost, so it's only 64, unfortunate, but Could have been an undersize as well, but it was okay. And then we have a classic fight, old school Swagger. The Imperial Troopers versus Night Sisters. The more dangerous comp, I think. I always felt it felt more threatening to go against a Sarge lead than Ventress. No, so it's the same thing, sorry. Mava Talson lead. Because she has this passive TM gain. And that always felt a little bit weird, or sometimes could go south. But of course, this was before Dark Trooper and Gideon and Piet were in the game. Yeah, and so it's not a biggie. Kind of a quick match. Full banners, no problem. Yeah, and this were the character matches on Beyond Fleets already, so running quite through this Grand Arena. And so far so good. As I said, I wanted to play very efficient, so it doesn't feel too weird to win because of the technical problems my opponent had. Of course, you never know what happened. If they wouldn't have been, potentially he would have like get banners on my like, I don't know, undersized everything or something like that. So you never know, but still, I guess when you see someone beats you by quite a margin, I think it's not as quote-unquote outrageous that the technical issues have happened, but they shouldn't happen. And I think it's a connectivity issue with iOS, so when you go into airplane mode, sometimes the game just goes back in after it lost connection and just sees, you're in the game, but you have no account connected. What's going on here? So we'll throw you into another account, which is very weird. Yeah. Again, sorry that it happened. Shouldn't happen. So, Capital Games, fix your game. Yeah. Anyway, back to the match. You've seen Rebels versus Raiders, which is kind of a staple already as well. A lot of people are placing Raiders because it's kind of a burner fleet for most people, for me as well, most of the times. Even though it can do quite some nice things on offense, especially as a cleanup versus executor. But versus other ships, it's not so well known what you can do, and often you need to have from other ships that you want to have with other fleets, so people just place it on defense. So here, second fleet battle, Negotiator versus Malevolence, which is always weird. At least for me, it's just like button mashing, things will happen. Green things on the screen, red things on the screen. What do they even mean? I have no idea, so I just button mash and try to take out this. I think it's the spy, yeah, right, spy. But of course he goes on stealth, so I'm losing banners left and right because of this. Then I almost take him out, and then of course there comes the AoE. I'm losing even more banners, all the protection is gone, and I'm like, oh god, what am I even doing here? And then I had some, as you can see, almost froze the game. I don't know what happened there, and so it counted as a win, but I didn't even see my banners back, which was super weird. Anyway, last match, and then the video is also already over, which also is a spoiler, so I don't fail again versus Empire with my own Empire quote-unquote fleet, which is more like a bounty hunter fleet. Yeah, looked quite nice versus Thrawn. Got TIE Fighter out, so no GM gain, got the Bomber out, which was also nice, and then you still have to pay attention, not only to Interceptor, but also to Vader, because he can do quite some damage. But not this time, sent him home before lunch. And so, yeah, it was, at this point, yeah, a win, so to say. Only have to take out the ship, no, the basic from the capital ship, but of course foresight that doesn't do anything, and so the basic from Razor Crest does it for 70 banners. And yeah, that's the final score, and thanks for watching, and the next match might be interesting. I'm playing against Fatal, so see you there, bye!